Glenn, I think, was making a point by letting the music run just a little bit longer, so we all knew that he was doing his job as the DJ this morning. Um, Before we begin our City Council study session for October the 22nd, we have a special council meeting. So I'll note that all of our council is present this morning for the meeting. This special council meeting is for a special purpose, obviously, and item 1 on the agenda for this meeting is approving and authorizing the city manager to enter into a government property lease excise tax agreement, also known as GPLET, and related agreements and documents for the property generally located at the southeast corner of Pepper Place and Robeson for the Eco Mesa project. Council, I know that we've previously had some lengthy discussions on this, but Mr. Brady, do you anticipate making any additional presentation or just seeing if there's any questions from council?
A 2-slide presentation if you'd like. Mr. McVeigh's here, just to refresh the council's memory about where we are with this approval process. We have a very brief presentation if you'd like it. Otherwise, we're just here seeking approval.
Thank you. I'm seeing a thumbs up from Mr. Freeman, and this is such an interesting and exciting project. I'd love to be reminded of some of the high points. So why don't please proceed, Mr. McVeigh.
Good morning, Mayor, Council. Jeff McVeigh, Manager of Downtown Transformation. And as Mr. Brady said, this will be brief, just to remind everybody where we got, or how we got here and where we are today. As a reminder, on August 31st, Council approved a development agreement, purchase and sale agreement, and a parking easement to allow the development of Eco Mesa. It's a 105-unit residential development with mixed-use ground floor commercial space. At that time, we had let Council know that we intended to bring a GPLET back to you, but we weren't able to bring it together with the development agreement because we needed to meet the statutory notification requirements. We have now, today is the first day that Council could act after meeting that 60-day notice requirement. In addition, since Council approved the development agreement and the purchase agreement, the project has received its zoning clearance approvals, as well as the developer has already opened escrow on the property, as well as the investment, the $30 million, has been placed into the Opportunity Zone Fund. So this project is ready to go. As a reminder of what the GPLET requires, by state statute, in order to be allowed an 8-year abatement, a GPLET needs to show that they're going to increase the value of the property by 100%, and that the revenues generated by the project will exceed the taxes abated. And in this case, the revenues generated over the 8 years is $3.5 million, and the property taxes that would be abated is $2.5 million. In addition, this property is located in a central business district and a redevelopment area, so it meets the requirements to be approved or to be allowed a GPLET. In the case of the city of Mesa, what we would be providing as a part of an 8-year tax abatement, and again, it's important for me to remind everybody that this property currently generates no property tax revenue for the city. But over the course of the 8 years, it would abate approximately $205,000 in city property tax, while generating $961,000 in direct revenues to the city. In addition, we have negotiated an in lieu payment to the school districts to help offset some of the taxes that they will be losing during this 8-year abatement, and that totals around $32,400. Not in this presentation, but also in the agreement is the requirement that the developer pay the city an annual lease rate of around $10,000, and then at the end of the 8-year abatement, when we are required to deed the property back to the developer, they will provide us with a $5,000 purchase payment, and those costs are to help offset our staff or cost to administer this GPLET. And with that quick summary, I'm happy to take any questions, entertain any discussion.
Thank you, Mr. McVeigh. I see Mr. Freeman thinking about raising his hand here. Jeff, let me ask you a quick question. As you pointed out earlier, currently this property is owned by the city. So typically when we have to provide rationale for why we would do a GPLET, we're comparing, well, you would have made X number of dollars with taxes, if we didn't do this versus if we do. But in this scenario, we're converting a piece of property from city ownership into essentially city ownership for 8 years. So really all of the payments in lieu of that you've described and the rent payments and the money that changes hands, really that's gravy on, I mean, so this is a different scenario. It really seems like there's no reason there's no question that this is a good deal for the city because, you know, the alternative to this is the status quo is that there is no tax payments anyway.
Mayor, council, I couldn't agree more. If I were to describe it, is the city's choosing to defer receiving tax revenues for 8 years instead of well, in lieu of us receiving zero tax revenue today. Now, the one thing that I do is important to recognize is that this does generate a little bit of parking revenue from the permit parking. But our intent is to replace all of the permit parking into another parking lot in downtown and to maintain at least some of that permit revenue through that other parking lot.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, maybe that was the point I was trying to make was obvious to everyone to begin with, and I hope I didn't make it any muddier. But there's also obviously other reasons to be excited about this. With we're actually bringing a lot of great new people to downtown that are going to live there and shop there and work there and play there and populate you know, the sidewalks and the retail establishments. And they're going to be utility customers, you know, buying water and electricity from the city. So this is a win-win on many fronts. Mr. Freeman, please go ahead.
Yeah, you know, just to go along with what you're saying, Mayor, is, you know, staff worked, our economic department and other staff creating these opportunity zones in our city. And this is an opportunity zone where it creates this GPLET availability for development. And so, you know, we worked really hard about 3 years ago, I think, for these opportunity zones and get them approved. And I appreciate that and staff for making this come to fruition. And more importantly, too, our school district gets the taxation for, you know, they're not left standing, our college district as well as our Mesa Public Schools, I believe. And then we get, what is it, Jeff, 76 or 77 parking spaces for future use once this is completed?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, that's correct. The development is replacing the 76 parking spaces with 76 new parking spaces within a structure.
And these are brand new. I mean, they're covered parking spaces, correct?
That is correct. It is an improvement over today's condition.
Great. Thank you. That's all I have, Mayor.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say thank you to Tim Sprague, who's been kicking around in downtown for a few years now, and it's great that we appreciate him bringing this great project to our city. Is my take on it. I see Councilmember Duff shaking her head. She's been obviously very engaged in this as the council member for this district. Mr. Luna.
Yeah, I agree, Mayor. I want to thank Tim Sprague for making a commitment to come to Mesa and really rebuild the downtown area. And I know it's taken a couple of years for this to happen, but this is really exciting. We're going to get high-end living quarters for many of our residents that want to live in the downtown area. Plus, the commercial aspect of it is going to generate a lot of taxes as well as the utility use. We're going to lose those parking spaces in the meantime, but we'll get it back once the building is built, and then we're going to get them back again and in even better conditions. So I'm going to be supportive of this. This is a great idea for the downtown area, and I look forward to attending the groundbreaking.
Amen. All right. Well, I think we've puffed our chest out on this project about as much as we can. So I think we're all feeling pretty good about it. Council, is there a motion to approve this item? I'm going to recognize Councilmember Duff, who represents this district, and seconded by Mr. Luna. We'll do a roll call vote. Vice Mayor Freeman, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. Councilmember Whitaker.
Aye.
Thank you. Councilmember Heredia.
Aye.
Thank you. Councilmember Duff.
Aye.
Thank you. Councilmember Luna.
Aye.
Thank you. Councilmember Thompson.
Aye.
Thank you. I vote aye as well, so that passes unanimously. The next item on our agenda for this special council meeting is items from citizens present. Ms. Mickelson, has anyone requested to speak?
No request, Mayor.
Thank you. Finally, is there a motion to adjourn this meeting? Thank you, Mr. Luna, seconded by Councilmember Duff. We'll do a voice vote. Please unmute your mic.